Alright, what's up guys? So in this video, I'm going to go over an A-plus setup of a trade I took that actually made me 800 bucks, trading Nike in under an hour. Okay, very, very simple. I'm going to go in depth why it's an A-plus setup, what my A-plus setup is, and how you can trade the same exact thing. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. So Nike, okay, this was the Nike setup. If we zoom out on the daily, you can see a very, very clear demand zone here. Alright, so price, we went up, we went down, we had this huge gap up from earnings this one day, and we just skyrocketed higher. Right, all the way from like 100 bucks to 130 bucks. All right, so obviously this is a demand zone I'm going to be looking to trade. All right, so I draw it right from the gap fill down to the bottom, we extend it out. Okay, so we have our demand zone in place. Now, the way I trade supply and demand, I don't just get in right here, right when price hits demand, okay? That's what you can do, although you're not going to have the best win rate doing that. So you can see this is a pretty big zone, okay, from 103 all the way down to 101.5, right? Pretty large zone. So if I'm looking to get in long right at demand, my stop all the way down at the low, I'm not going to have the best risk reward, right? I need price to go, basically back up to yesterday's gap fill or yesterday's low just to get about a 1-1. If I want to get even more than that, we've got to go all the way up here. All right, so we need a pretty big move to get a good trade if we're getting in right at demand, which I don't do. Okay, here's what you do. Here's the A-plus setup. So we look at the daily time frame or the 4-hour, 1-hour, whatever it is, higher time frame to find the good demand zones or supply zones. Then we zoom in on the 1 minute to trade them or the 5 minute. Typically, I'll use the 1 minute though. Okay. So we look at the 1 minute, price comes in, right? We gap down from 105 down to 104. We come down, we hit this demand zone, and we're like, okay, let's wait for something to happen. Now, what are we waiting to happen to see? What are we waiting for a confirmation to make this a good setup? Well, we want to see price start to form an uptrend, right? Because when price is coming down, as price comes down, right, we're consolidating, we're going lower, we're in a downtrend. Okay, for price to get down to this demand zone, we're in a downtrend. And if we want to see price start to go in an uptrend, that's our confirmation to get long. Okay, so there's a few different ways you can play it. I'm going to show you the best way to play it. You can see Nike, we open here, we come down into demand, we have a nice move higher. Okay, we form more demand on the 1 minute down here. We make a low, we make a high, we make a low, we make a high. Okay. And it looks like now we're kind of just consolidating the rest of the day, moving down. So, at what point, if it's just, I want you guys to just look, okay? Just look at this chart and tell me what you think, what you believe is the best point to get in a trade. Now, obviously, hindsight, getting down back here when we're at demand is the best time. But going forward, if you didn't know that, how would you know when to get in a trade? Well, you want to wait until price starts to form an uptrend, okay? And so at this point, right here, when price hits this high, that is when we are in an uptrend. Okay, that is our confirmation that price is now in an uptrend. Why? We have started to see higher highs and higher lows. Okay, price comes down, we have the low, we have the high, we have the low, we have the higher high, we have a lower or a higher low, and then another high. Okay, so at this point, when price finally breaks this high and we start to see an uptrend, that's when we know we want to look to get into a long position. However, when do we get in, Jordan? Like, what do we do? Well, at this point, what you can do is wait for a pullback, because at this point, we know this low right here, right at 103.28, should hold. Okay, in an uptrend, right? This is the start of an uptrend. These buyers were stronger than the sellers here, because we were able to take price above this past high. Okay. And so when you see that, you believe that, okay, this demand zone, this low should hold. The buyers should defend this low. So you can simply wait for price to come back down to a smaller time frame demand zone, this 1 minute demand right here. We beautifully tap it and then end up going higher. Okay, so where would you actually get into a trade? Well, you want to get in right there at that demand. You can either be very risky, put your stop right below the demand. Ideally, the more logical stop is right below this low here. Then you want to target the high here, okay? Because price makes higher highs and an uptrend, just like that. And if you want to have a second target, you can target this high as well, right there. That's pretty much all I did. Very simple. Very simple, very, very easy trade to understand and navigate. You wait for price to hit demand, you wait for price to form an uptrend, and then you get long. Okay? You can make a lot of money doing that. Now, I'm going to show you another example. Okay? Let me show you AI. It's pretty much the same exact trade. Okay? Let me get rid of some of these levels and zoom out a little bit. All right? So let me get this. All right, take a look at AI. So price had a huge move up. We had a nice daily demand zone. It had earnings yesterday. We gapped down. You can see we actually wicked right at demand. So we have our daily demand zone, right? We're in an uptrend. We zoom in on the 1 minute. We say, okay, what happened here? Where do we want to look to get into a trade? Well, obviously looking back, you want to be getting in right at demand. But again, this is a massive, risk. You're risking 3 points. You're risking 12% on a stock. You don't want to be doing that, okay? With the massive demand like this, even if the risk reward is there, you still don't want to be risking 12%. That's a crazy amount of risk. Okay, so what you can do is zoom in on the smaller time frame and wait for price to tell you when to get into the trade. Okay, so let me go ahead and look at a 5 minute here. Actually, you know what? Let me go down to a 1 minute. So price comes down. What do we see? Price comes down. We pull back. We come into demand. We make a high. We make a low, and then we just rally. We make another low and we rally again, all the way up. Huge squeeze after this, okay? So at what point do we know we can get into this trade? Well, if we're looking at it, we have this low, this high, this low. We're in a downtrend at this point, right? When prices come down to demand, we're in a downtrend. So in order to see an uptrend form, we want to see that high break. Okay, we also want to see price start to make higher highs and higher lows. That's an uptrend, okay? Well, you can see at this point, price finally breaks that high right here. Okay? That's our sign that, okay, now price is starting to be an uptrend after we're hitting a higher time frame demand zone. Now we can look to get long. So price comes up, we break that high, we pull back. This is your opportunity to get in long right here. Okay? Because again, after price breaks this high, now we know price is an uptrend. So you wait for the pullback down to this demand, you get long. Just like that, put your stop below the low, target the high up here, nice 3-hour trade. You can also just target the high right here for a nice 1.5-hour trade, okay? Now, let's say you missed that move. Let's say you wanted to be a little more cautious and have a little bit more confirmation, be a little bit more, okay, I want to make sure this demand zone really holds before I look to get in long. Okay, and you wait and you wait and wait all the way for this move here. And at this point, you're thinking, okay, now I definitely know we're in an uptrend, we're bouncing off demand, price is going to continue higher. Then you can simply just do the same thing. Wait for price to come down, okay? You can point out demand zone. You can do it based off of Fibonacci retracement, right down to that 0.618. There's a lot of different things you can do to enter a trade, okay? One of them simply being supply and demand. Price can come down, hit that demand zone. You can say, okay, I'm going to get long. You can literally put your stop below this low here, target the high, nice 1.3-hour trade. You can be a lot more aggressive, put your stop right below there, you're looking at a 5.5-hour trade. Very solid trade. You can see you could have caught a much bigger trade as well if you end up holding it all the way to the top. But again, the thing that I want to keep you guys in mind and mention is you don't need to go for the whole move, right? Going back to Nike, even if you just caught this move here, that's fine. That's a solid, 2.5-hour trade. Just from literally getting in right here and getting out right there when price takes off this high right here, or right here. You don't need to catch the exact bottom and the exact top, okay? You don't need to do that. You just need to get a piece of the move. You can still make a lot of money. But as long as you're simply waiting for price to tell you what it wants to do, because at here you don't really know, here you have a decent idea, and when price comes all the way up here, you have a really good idea that price is going to continue moving higher. And once you have that very good idea, that very solid confirmation, now you know, okay, I'm going to wait for a pullback, get in, use a logical stop, target the high, target liquidity, have a good risk reward, and that's how you set up a proper trade that actually works, okay? Now, if you guys want to learn the exact strategy I use, okay, because this was kind of a glimpse, I want you to click the first link in the description down below and watch the free training I made, okay? It's a free training. Click the link down below. You're going to learn a lot from it, okay? And then you can book a call with someone from my team, and we'll see if you're a good fit, and you can learn literally my proven strategies that I've been using for the past 3 years, okay? But with that being said, guys, leave a like, comment below other videos I should make, watch that free training, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in the next video.